Y'all are on the East Van Dan Shit Show.
Boom. There you go. How's it going again?
It's good. It's I just moved again, what feels like the umpteenth time. My dad's helping me paint my place, so he's in the background.
Oh, nice. Mm,
Other than that,
been
yeah,
there.
just having a good time in Nanaimo.
Yeah, you're in Nanaimo right now?
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I saw you. This was a pre-sobriety for me. But I think it was at the terminal you opened for Simon King.
Yeah.
Yeah, when was that again?
Oh, man, that was shit. That was definitely in the summer. Was that August or July? I think it was August. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
early
I
August.
wasn't. No, I wasn't in
No?
rehab at the time. So
Oh,
yeah,
then no. But it was definitely this summer.
yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe I like walked by it like a poster and saw it or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Anyways,
It was
uh,
my brain. Yeah, I love Simon King. I've always been a fan of him. He talks like I think, and I find that very relaxing.
yeah, he's definitely a fast talker. That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Um. So, how was the show at the Nanaimo bar the other night?
Oh yeah, that was so Scott Porteous. We actually so it was his tour, him and Chris Basso, and then I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's a really good comic as well. But Scott Porteous, I met during the pandemic because he ran something called the comedy workshop.
Mm,
So so I was doing a bunch of things online with one comedy group that I had. It was like a couple hundred people in a Facebook group, and we'd meet like every week for writing jams essentially. But he made it more of a formal like open-ended thing that anybody could join where you signed up and then you get like you get a topic that you could write about and then you bring that to the workshop and then you could just kind of riff jokes. So it was kind of more of a challenge and writing and getting feedback on your own material. So it was a bit of like
yeah.
a little challenge thing. So anyway, yeah, so he's doing his tour all over BC, it sounds like, in Alberta. So he messaged me, he's like, oh, can you come down for the Nanaimo and the Duncan show? So Nanaimo bar, which is literally right across from where I live, which is fucking unreal for Canada comedy to walk to a show.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good
yeah.
time.
My apologies for not making it. I didn't know it was sold out, and I did not know they didn't have like a back room, like a green
Oh,
room or
dude,
like whatever for podcasting.
it's a closet in there. So like it's
Yeah,
sold out. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you sell out a show, it's great. But like, yeah, it's quite tiny. It's a very tiny venue.
yeah. So, when did you start doing comedy, or how did you get in the game? I should say.
I had an existential crisis because I was working full time as a fitness person back in 2015, and I was just like, I don't want to fucking do this full time. And I was thinking always that I was going to be an actor, which is so cliche. And I just so I took a step back from working full time fitness, and I was like, what else do I want to try? And so I took an improv class, and then I took a stand up comedy class, and I fell in love with stand up comedy way more because it's less uh team oriented.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just not that I don't like people. I love people, but I don't know. It was very cliquey crowd in improv. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I did stand up first time in 2016. And I still remember my first set at the Comedy Mix. That was like that place is long gone since. I don't know if you
yeah.
ever been.
I've never even heard of it, so it must be a
No?
while. Yeah,
It was on Burrard Street at the bottom of I can't remember the hotel's name, but it was like the basement of a hotel. It was a super sick spot. Like it was really cool club. And Tuesday was amateur night and Ivan Decker was headlining.
I know
And
Ivan. Yeah.
do you remember him? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sitting in the back room and I'm like just vibrating because it's like so fucking nervous. And then I'm telling Ivan, I'm like, wow, like, and I get chatty when I'm nervous, right? So I get chatty all the time. I look over at Ivan and I'm just like, man, like, do you ever still get nervous? Like, I'm just fucking whatever. And he looks at me and he's like, only when I'm not prepared. And I just died. I still remember that damn him. Yeah, I after that though, I left for like a couple years. Uh, for whatever reason got, I don't know, either scared or wrapped up in other life stuff. But then I 2018 something just like switched in me and I just hit it and I hit it hard and I've been like rocking the thing ever since.
Nice. You mentioned acting. Do you used to act, or do you currently act, or okay?
Um, yeah, that was my initial childhood dream. Uh, and I went, I don't know why, I decided that after high school, I would just go to Simon Fraser University at the business school for acting, which is so fucking stupid. Um, so I didn't get into the program, needless to say. What I ended up taking a humanities degree for no fucking reason, just to finish something, and then started working in fitness, which was totally by accident as well, because I wasn't a fitness person before that, so everything's fucking random. But yeah, long story short, I kind of dabbled here and there. Like I got an agent, did the self tape thing, but I just never got like. I even produced a short film, several short films, some in like ultra low budget level that are so I did a whole bunch of shit in the acting realm, but I never really got far. I think I just got really tired of the chasing game, and also I never felt like I measured up to the other fabulous women that are always like just coiffed, you know?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
you. I prior to my stint in rehab, I worked in film. So
Really?
I have like 2.5 feature films sitting on a hard drive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you gotta get those out. Those are so much
I,
work.
yeah, but it's pre-sobriety stuff, and I had a falling out with like one of the leads in one of them, and I was just like, yeah, it's a little, it's too soon. It's too
Yeah, that's
soon.
fair. It's a lot
Yeah,
of, you ever find that like it's just like this kind of work, you just put so much soul into it. It just like it saps you in a different way, you know?
it does. It does, especially with like, like little like indie projects, because it's like you're literally the driving force. So it's like
Mm.
you're fucking putting so much time and effort and fucking everything. You're doing like
Right?
like 15 jobs as one person, and you're like, fuck. Then you
I know.
throw booze into that too. It's just like it's just a
Oh,
chaotic world.
oh,
Yeah.
totally. And it's so funny to me that we still live in a society that's like, oh, we're not gonna pay you for shit like that. It's like, dude, you guys consume media like literally all the time. I could go on.
um. So like who are your influences for comedy? Like who do you like look up to?
Oh wow. You know what's funny? I don't find like there's so many comedians out in the scene that talk about their, you know, how they started with listening to podcasts or listening to comedians, and they were like, "Oh, I grew up on this guy and this gal and blah 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 blah." I wasn't like that. I loved the art form because it was about I think I was just refreshed because it was about something that I could write, something that I could say honestly. And I guess to that respect, I really love people like George Carlin, Bill Burr, Richard Pryor, because I loved the idea that you were the one writing your own message. You were the like it was about pure and raw and unadulterated opinion and truth and what you felt about the world. And that was just so nice, especially coming from like the acting realm where you're handed your lines and they're so cheesy and bullshitty and it's just like ugh. So whereas comedy was just about like, hey, you don't need to do your fucking hair, you just need to show up with a fun little shirt and like don't wear shorts, that's your only dress code, and you get to say all the shit on your chest, and I'm like, that's so refreshing. But apart from that though, I still love, like, I'm gonna be cliche, I love Bill Burr, I love Robin Williams. If I could just fuse them together, that would be what I want to be as a comedian.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Angry but bubbly.
um yeah, I think I did open mic. I think I did like 5 minutes. I think when I was like 28, and I noticed though, like it's true what they say. If you put like some truth of like in like your work, whether it's like writing or like doing
Mm,
stand up or whatever, it's that much better.
right?
Yeah.
And then nobody like it's nice because like you don't come up with hack jokes that way. You come up with real shit. It might not be like fine-tuned immediately, but it's something that nobody else can say, nobody else can deliver
Mm.
but you because it's your shit. And it's also very helpful. Like I find like listening to comedy, especially the earlier stuff, was really helpful for me to kind of get an understanding of a different way of looking at the world. Um, I learned a lot, oddly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, life experiences, that's fucking important. That's for sure. Yeah. So you're from Vancouver originally?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, not proper, but I grew up in Port Coquitlam,
Okay.
uh, and then Burnaby, and then I lived in New West for a while. That was kind of where I did the main stint of comedy, and then I moved to Calgary for 2 years. Amazing scene there. Um,
Yeah, I think I saw a post of something you posted on I think it was Instagram in Calgary or something.
mm,
You did a show there or something.
yeah, it was. Oh, there's such great venues there, and I assume it's because they have so much winter winter woes. But yeah, they had the Laugh Factory. I think it was Laugh Factory. Yuck Yucks was always a good time. Like I mean, Vancouver fought for audiences, whereas Calgary is like everyone showed up for the Thursday open mic night. It was fucking rad. Um,
Nice.
yeah, yeah, good times. Met a lot of really good comics there. I met um oh my god, what's his name? I totally we're like you know what? Forget names are just slippery to me. Dale Ward. He's one of the amazing hardworking comedians. So Dale Ward, there's a bunch of good ones there, but yeah, he stands out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think does Vancouver even have a Yuck Yucks anymore?
Not anymore. Well, I mean,
No.
it's in Surrey.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, yeah.
I like if they still call it Yuck Yucks Vancouver though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, I figured they didn't have one. I don't know about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I don't think I mean, I lived in Vancouver for roughly 8 years. They didn't it's not like a really sought out, you know, comedy clubs or whatever, but I didn't think they really had that much of a scene.
Not really, no.
No.
It's really amateur based, like amateur producer based.
Like
And
comedy after dark.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I even mind you, like Susie's doing a really good job of giving some kind of more credibility into the stage. Like she's done like I mean, I don't know if she owns the place. I know that she runs it. Um, but she I guess she does own it. Yeah. She owns this whole little restaurant bar space, and it's like probably the more legitimate Vancouver club out there. I would say
Yeah.
probably the most legitimate, just because she's put so much time and effort into like marketing it and establishing it as a credible thing. Whereas yeah, all the other Vancouver based shows are all well, I guess there's Jokes Please, but they're I don't even know where he Ross took it somewhere else because the you remember the little mountain comedy center?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that place was either sold or rezoned or something happened to it, which is really unfortunate because it was like one of those spots where it's like if you got a spot there as a comedian, like you were, it was really much sought after show,
Yeah.
very well attended. But I think they took their show somewhere else. But other than that, though, yeah, it's all like, I mean, during the pandemic, it was funny. I was producing like 4 or 5 bar shows, and then the Comedy Ring boys were producing 4 or 5 shows, and then that was it. It was wild.
Um so I read on your you know, your Instagram or Facebook that you're like big into fitness.
Mm.
Yeah? How
Mhm.
so?
The funny part is I never was planning to be. I started working out, God, when I was like 16 years old, and I was just because I was like not an athlete person. I just was like,
You
I'm
and me
getting
both.
out of shape. Like, I was like your classic sugar addict teenager that was playing video games. But anyways, yeah. So it started with that, and then I had a bunch of friends in the um, doing kinesiology degrees in university. So I just ended up hanging out with them and went to the SFU's gym there, and that I started working front desk there, and that kind of spiraled into like the boss was like, well, we need more instructors, so if you want to get certified and blah. So here, just picture me, this like awkward like two left foot kid, just like trying to learn step class to teach other people, like. So and yeah, I think it became like a nice little side hobby because everything else in my life was like super existential and weird, like doing acting and essays, and fitness was kind of a nice like, okay, this is simple. Pick heavy thing up, put it down. Like it was very it was just nice. But yeah, since then I've been a personal trainer, now a certified nutritionist, also a group fitness instructor, also yoga certified, which don't fucking take yoga from me.
No, I know. I did yoga. I used to live on apartment on East Georgia,
Mm.
and they would have like in the building's gym in like the basement. They would have like Thursday yoga.
Oh, really? That's
It,
cool.
yeah, and I would go. I was the only guy. It was about me and like 4 or 5 other ladies, and yeah, after the first, I did it maybe like 2, 3 times, and then I just gave up.
Gave
I
up.
can't do yoga. I can't do yoga.
Was it
It's not for
was
me.
it like was it too yoga, like, because there's yoga classes that are like, we're gonna just get strong and flexible, and there's other yoga classes where like, we're gonna get in touch with the universe, like, which kind was
I think it's a more flexible
yeah, okay.
one, and also for the record, I wasn't like a sober person back then either, so
Okay.
I was like
Oh
half
man.
loaded doing it. So yeah.
That would be epic, a drunk downward dog. Just like, this is so much harder when you don't have central nervous system on your side. Not that you want to go back there, but still.
No, but yeah, I would like to say I'm a cardio nut.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, yeah. I notice what, like when you get you tend to go to the gym a lot. I usually do about an hour of cardio a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, during the shutdown, I worked at a very small local gym in New West, and there's a lot of halfway houses there, and a lot of guys would come in, and you could just tell like we had a really interesting community because like they were, I don't know, I find like the people that dealt with really hard addictions, they transferred the addiction to the like positive shit, and they were just all in, and that was like what made them like hyper respond to, like, they were the ones that were achieving the most in a gym setting because they could just focus in and dial in so hard. That's why when the shutdown happened, I was like devastated that we had to close the gym, because I'm like, this is what's keeping people from really negative shit. Like, anyway.
Mm. So you're saying you produce shows, or yeah. So you have a production company?
Yeah, I'm actually resurrecting it. But I started with God, when did I start it? I think it was 2018. Was it 2018? 2019? I produced my first show at a venue in New West, which was like a local loved, beloved place. It was the Heritage Grill, which unfortunately burnt down
Ooh.
a few years ago.
Under mysterious circumstances?
Yeah, it was devastating. But it really was devastating because it was one of those places where you walked in and there's like pictures of all the past shows that went on there, and it was like 25, 30 years of shows, like all these different
Ooh.
people, like the drag community, like just tons of heart was in this place. So I produced my first show there, and that was with Quasey Thomas, Brett Martin, and I can't remember the other ones. But yeah, so that was I produced under the name Laugh Wild Comedy, and that kind of took off. And then I did a whole bunch of other shows from like Surrey to Maple Ridge to Cumberland on the island to the Culch Theater to I filled up the Fox, which was fucking rad. I co-produced a kind of like a group roast battle. It was like boomers versus millennials.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've done a whole bunch of random production shit. And then I was gonna partner with Alicia Dillon, who's now in the States, and she's fucking killing it there now. She's rising star. But we were gonna co-produce together, and I was gonna reflip the name so that it would be kind of our thing instead of just mine. So we were Comedy North for a while, but circumstances, I met a guy, moved to Calgary, blah blah blah. She moved on, and so anyway, I'm resurrecting Laugh Wild as of right now.
Nice. I'm also
Yeah.
resurrecting my, well, like I said, I got like 2.5 feature films sitting on a
Yeah,
hard
man.
drive, so
You
might
gotta
as well
get this out.
yeah, start it back up.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's exciting.
have you been to the theater lately
Oh man,
to
no.
see an actual movie?
Oh,
Talk.
man. What was the last thing I saw? No, you know what? I know exactly the last thing I saw. It was a few months ago. It was by myself. I went to see Dune 2,
Yeah,
and it was fucking awesome.
I'm not much of a sci-fi person.
It was so good. Like the story, the music, it's amazing.
The reason why I ask is because I was talking to a buddy the other night, and he was like, so I went and saw Megalopolis. It's
What
that
the
new, it's
heck is
that
that?
new Francis Ford Coppola. You know, he fucking did The Godfather and like
Oh, okay.
Clips Now, and he put like 120 plus million into making this movie. And apparently, it's not only did it like, okay, like I just said, it's got like the budget's like 120 million plus. I think at the box office it made 4 mil.
Shit.
So yeah, it's quite the box office bomb. And
Oh
it was just like, this is like the fucking worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Like,
God.
what was this fucking guy thinking?
My dad's gone.
Is that your dad in the background?
No, he's just leaving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
um,
That's
so
the
do you got?
worst.
Yeah, it's like fuck, like
I
a
thought I
hundred.
felt failure, but that would be like a whole other level of failure.
Like if you got like 100 over 120 million to make a movie, why don't they? Why wouldn't you just keep the money? Like, what? You want to make more money? I mean,
I mean,
like,
the hope is.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you already got. I mean, I think it sells itself. Just keep the money.
You know, it'd be funny if they just divided that money into like maybe what probably would be like 5,000, 10,000 projects that are much better thought of and planned and scripted better because there's actually heart in them as opposed to like handing millions over to some guys who are like, what else should we fucking do?
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
yeah, 100. Hey, I think that's over 120 million dollars for a movie.
mm,
Why don't you just make 10 like lower budget ones? I mean,
right? They're
yeah,
usually better. Like everyone loves the film festival ones, and they're always the low budget because they always have to rely on story and characters. And it's like, oh, funnily enough, we all like that better.
yeah. Whatever happened to creativity
Thank
to
you.
problem solve? Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Um. So, anyways, so like, did you just move to Nanaimo?
Well, yeah, I was living long dramatic story short. I the reason I moved to Calgary was for a relationship blew up. I was going to move back to the lower mainland, but my parents had since retired to the island like 7 years prior. So I was like, can I live with you guys until I find my next place? And so I live with them in this little hoity-toity area in Nuneaus Bay. And I love my folks, so we live together fine. But I just found this place and moved in, and I'm just so, you've no idea how excited I am to have all my shit in one spot because like even when I was in Calgary, I have a tiny car. So I had to like take some of my stuff and put it with my friends, leave some of it with my folks. And I was gonna like go back and get it, but like the relationship was like fucking on fire before I could even do that. So to have all my things in one spot is like I'm stoked.
Yeah, I can tell. That's awesome. So what time is it? Oh, yeah, I got a class I'm taking tomorrow, so I got a bunch of shit to do this afternoon.
I feel like
But before we wrap this up, um, do you got any shows, upcoming shows?
I do. I have a couple.
I would love to see you.
Oh yeah, come.
Yeah,
Ferry over. Where are you actually?
in Nanaimo.
Oh, you're in Nanaimo. Okay, great. I
Yeah.
was like East Van. Is he in East Van? Okay, I
No,
confused
no, that's my former
Yay.
stomping ground.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Nanaimo's like very similar. Yeah, I'm opening for Jen Situko. I've never met her yet, but she's from Toronto. She's coming down October 24th and 25th. 24th, we're in Campbell River at SoCal, but we're in Nanaimo Corner Lounge on the Friday 25th. And then I think I'm doing a spot at Brett McKindle's new show, Super Bloom Comedy, and that's at October 18th. That's another Friday.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Sweet. I'm gonna be there. Corner Lounge. I haven't been there in fucking forever, but yeah.
Classic
I'm
little
stoked.
gem.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks, Dan.
But you said in one of your last emails that you're doing an open mic.
Yeah, there's a couple. Well, there's a new one in Lanceville on every second Wednesday starting this week. And then tonight is SIP comedy.
Oh,
with-
the sit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like
it's
Peter
Tuesday.
Hudson's hosting
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know Peter. I know.
Everyone knows Peter.
Yeah, we had a bit of a miscommunication problem.
Who
going
doesn't
on.
with Peter?
Yeah, well, yeah. That's a long story.
But an entertaining one.
It's quite an entertaining one. But anyways, thanks for doing the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me.
I'll email you soon to ask again where you're doing a show, and I'll come fucking watch you, and I'm sure I will laugh.
Fucking A, Dad.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good.
Fucking A. Awesome, Nina. We'll speak soon, and have a good one.
Good luck.